Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. This is Tap 65. The Kerry National from Listowel is what takes centre stage in a race that I cannot wait for. That looks like a fantastic renewal of the Kerry National. And you yourself, fresh off a double figure price winner from Tap 64. How are you getting on?
Oh, good. Yeah, I think we're back now. Back with the jumps.
We're back. No, we're so back.
Back with the jumps, yeah. And yeah, it was a nice one. Nice one. It was a long time now the photo took.
Yeah, you thought it was beat because you text me winner and then you went, oh no. And
Yeah,
right.
well,
yeah, that angle
sure.
is that angle is tough.
Yeah, so it took when it was taking so long, I was like, oh no, this isn't good. But yeah, we got it anyway. It was a nice one, yeah. That's
absolutely.
We've had a really good Irish Champions weekend. Yep. We had a 12-1 winner midweek. Then we had Brendan's
standard,
and then we had another 12-1 winner at the weekend. And yeah, not one notification did I get for Best Jumps podcast to follow on Twitter today. No,
none.
Who's banging out results like that?
I don't know. Yeah, we just need people to. I suppose. Well, actually, people do care. They just want to back winners. That's all. That's all we're here for. Winners and analysis. I started going down a rabbit hole studying for this card actually of horses going chasing this season. They'll be going novice chasing this season. There's a few that I have my eye on and I'm keen on. I'm nearly ready to share them. Not quite yet, but in a few podcast time, maybe after Listowel,
there's a few. Drip feed everyone with them.
We'll drip feed them. I don't know. I don't know if there'll be another Spillans Tower or a horse like that, but like there might be a few in there that will go on and win nice races. Yeah. I'm kind of getting giddy now for the jump season. It's right. It's very close to us.
Yeah, it is. Well, this race now on Wednesdays, it's an absolute cracker. Like that is like how would you even mutter the word Chepstow around that race? Like apples and pears.
The Welsh National won't get a feel like that.
No,
speaking of Chepstow, it won't. As long as if Abandoned Due to Frost isn't turning up, or
yeah, well, look, hopefully Abandoned Due to Frost doesn't, because that could be where Entrance Rafi goes. And
yeah, well,
1,000 lengths. Have you ever seen a horse win by 1,000 lengths before?
Well, if it's going to happen anywhere, the depths of winter, Chepstow is probably where it would happen. We've seen some crazy winning distances and at that track. But look, Listowel, obviously famous for horses making all on the flat. Like I think going through, we're recording on Monday night, obviously for anyone that's just wondering, loads of horses making all today on the flat. Not quite the same, but can lend itself to prominent tactics as well, over jumps. And I was saying on the previous podcast how Listowel can take a little bit of jumping, and it was no more evident deck than that 2 mile handicap chase where I think your mare for the Gavin Cromwell came down, and then Lucy, or then my John Reinhorst came down at the next fence. Both were cruising. The pace held up. Cruising.
Long way to go, but
yeah, the pace held up.
Until they didn't.
Exactly. No, they were cruising. No, only messing. But anyway, look, we'll get kick-started for what's a fantastic day at Listowel. I really can't wait for this card. I kind of wish I was going down. I went last year. I was just running out of annual leave this year, unfortunately. But look, we'll start anyway. Deck 2 o'clock. The McSweeney brothers. Who's your favourite McSweeney brother deck? Maiden Hurdle. I wonder what they do. Anyway,
the one that won the Irish Guineas.
Oh yes. Oh God, yeah. The vocalised called the Irish Guineas in a bog. Remember that? Very good answer. 11 runners. Right. So this, it's probably fair to say Special Cadeau, who is first time up now for Henry de Bromhead. He's coming from the Willie Mullins yard. Decent bumper form, but he is 6 now. Like beaten last time out by the progressive Gorgeous Tom, who I think has subsequently won over fences, if I'm not mistaken. He won at Wexford, didn't he? Yeah.
He won the rated novice chase, I think.
Yeah, and this is the race where I started going down a rabbit hole because I saw some names like Kinturk, Calanisi, and a few other little bits like that. But more on those horses in a couple taps time. Deck, yay or nay on Special Cadeau? For me, looks like the obvious one here.
Yeah, probably takes the beating here. Like he was second to Gorgeous Tom. He ran in some, all his maidens were decent enough, and he was probably finishing 4th or 5th in them all, running a decent enough race. He was ahead of Brave Fortune. You put him ahead of Brave Fortune and Lion too, that's to be. And Henry will know where he's at based on the league form. He's probably going to take the beating here. One I'll be keeping an eye on though is Darby Rock. Mouse Morris. He is a half brother to Beneficent, so you're hoping he's a bit big over his hurdles, and we'll wait a couple of seasons to see him hopefully turn into a really good chaser.
Yeah, tongue tie on first time would maybe suggest that ground could be important to him. He might want good ground, which he's obviously going to have, but like you don't usually want to see a tongue tie on first time, do you?
No, you don't. But look, there are issues you can sort out as well.
They are, yeah.
You know, so
sometimes horses, when they're green and inexperienced, can tend to do it on one breath as well. So yeah, that will be there just as a little later. It'd be interesting to see now. Like if you see this horse on heavy ground, I wouldn't touch him with a 20-foot barge pole. Now that's when we're probably coming into handicaps. Will be interesting to see how he runs though on his debut. Not the warmest of maidens, but like a decent enough one. Yeah, so we're in agreement. I'd imagine Special Cadeau would be a shade of odds on, won't he? Probably.
I'd say so. Yeah. And should be like.
Yeah. Right. A novice hurdle up next. Quite interesting. A Willie Mullins horse in the same colours, or not in the same colours. A Willie Mullins horse was beaten at a very, very short price in this race last year. I'm just trying to remember which one it was.
Was it the one in the American colours?
No, it was in the Rich Ritchie colours. Was beaten at a very short price. It'll come to me in a moment, I'm sure. Anyway, look, he could have a short price favour here again.
The alley stock? No, he wouldn't have been a novice.
No, there was someone like that. I think it began with a B. I'll find it now. He was beaten by
Would it be Horizontal Dairy?
I think it could have well been. I think he was beaten by Samui. Or no, he wasn't beaten by Samui. He was beaten by I'll
tell you now.
Embarrassing myself. The Wall Park, that was the one.
It was the alley stock was beaten.
It was Bialystock. Okay, fair play, Dak. That's a good memory. Right, well, Willie Mullins could well make amends this season with Goucher. However, he does have to reverse the form at Lecoq Hardy, who does also have to give him £5 though. Goucher was a very impressive winner of a maiden hurdle on his penultimate start, beating Kimmy. Before that, was beaten by another horse that I've got my eye on. Have I Got News for You? Who beat him at Kilbeggan. 132 probably flatters him in my opinion. Lecoq Hardy, who's finished ahead of him, is rated 125, but as I said, has to give him £5 here. I probably have it between both of them, Deck. I suppose you have Zarian See the Moon gelding from Mick Halford and Tracy Collins, who have a couple of runners on the card and made a decent enough winning start to his jumps career. Do you think he could get involved here, or do you have it between the two more experienced hurdlers?
Oh, I don't have Goucher on my list at all. Like Lecoq Hardy, Lecoq Hardy has to give weight all around. You know, but he's already given Goucher £3 and a 7-length beating, so I think he's going to cope with the extra £2 he has to give him. Lecoq Hardy is only a 5-year-old as well, and he's won twice now. He's quite a nice horse, I think.
He is a nice horse, yeah.
It's just he does have to give weight all around, and he has to give to Zaragan. What's he giving Zaragan actually?
7.
Who is only a 4-year-old. He's giving him £7. So
£7, yeah.
He did bolt up on his hurdling debut, didn't he? He had some of these in behind. This is only a second run over hurdles. It's hard to know what he is. He could be anything. The two mares down the end, Crack the Sky and Rockstown Girl, like they do have some nice form, but they've been well beat too. But like they could run a big race, you know, either of them are at a big price, but you just couldn't trust them. They're real mares, like they're a little bit inconsistent. I have between Lecoq Hardy and Zaragan, and probably Lecoq Hardy. Just I think he might be good enough to give all of these weight. The fact that Zaragan's still a 4-year-old is just. I'll take him on, and I'll take him on with Lecoq Hardy. He has Goucher covered, so he only has Zaragan to worry about. So, and it's only 7 he's given him, you know, and it's not always the most difficult task to give a 4-year-old 7. I know he's only a year older, but I'd stick with Lecoq Hardy.
Yeah, at this time of year, I suppose.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Lecoq Hardy is definitely the one to beat. Now, Goucher would throw a spanner in the works if he settled. He didn't settle at all at Galway. the thing I would say about Zarigan as well, he did jump right when he won at Roscommon, which obviously wouldn't hinder you too much around Roscommon. It could cause carnage at Listowel though. Like, you don't want to be jumping right at Listowel. It's tight enough as it is. And yeah, you can give away lengths there. So he'd want to be very good if he does have a tendency to jump right. Now, it's unfair to say he definitely does after just one run, especially when he's won. But again, against a horse like Lecoq Hardy, I would most likely be siding with the 5-year-old, give away all around. And that's assuming Goucher doesn't settle. I could see Paul Townend maybe taking him to the front, hood and tongue tie on there. They might just try and go hard from the front and see if he can last it out. But no, it would be Lecoq Hardy. For myself as well, and maybe Henry de Bromhead gets off to a flyer at a double on Kerry National Day to start off. On to the 310 deck in 80 to 109. We're in your neck of the woods now for the Brandon Hotel Handicap hurdle. You ever stayed at the Brandon Hotel deck now?
I haven't. No,
not near have I did. Well, it'd be sticking on the list. 18 runners and your 3 reserves here. We've Public Enemy at this stage, Liberated Light, who I thought it would have won at this stage. Eye Catcher, 2 starts back, but just could not follow it up last time out in a very disappointing run. I found this race quite tough, Deck. I was actually going to side with the 5-year-old that actually won last time out, Gabriel Ranger. I think he's I could see him improving again. Now, he beat Magic Ollinger, who was a horse that you were a fan of on his last start, and Liberated Light was back in third that day. So you could maybe make an argument that if you forgave Liberated Light his last run, he could have a chance, but I just find it hard to forgive that horse at this stage now. So I would be siding with Gabriel Ranger for Danny Mullins and Joe Murphy. I think it could be a very progressive 5-year-old in this company. Who do you like, Deck?
Yeah, I do like Gabriel Ranger. He's a 5-year-old on an upward curve. I backed him a couple of times in the spring, and he was probably just a little bit weak. He ran good races, but just didn't see them out. He's one who could cope with the 6 pound rise now. That came last month after a layoff since April, I think. Yeah, definitely has another one in him, having only gone up to 6 pound. Slieve Berna, you mentioned Mick Halford and Tracy Collins already.
Yeah.
He's 2-7 over hurdles. He definitely bumped into one the last day and has gone up 4 pound for that. But, was 9 lengths clear to third. You take the winner out of that, and he's getting a lot more than 4 pounds. So I'd have it between them. But there was a few more who made the list. Sutton's Hill, he makes his handicap debut, but he does with lots of maiden experience, and he was second in a rated novice hurdle. Benzoin is a reserve who is one for the notebook, I think. I'm hoping he doesn't get in here. Eastmore, only a 4-year-old, up 4 pound for a second in the second handicap. I think it'll be just a little bit too tough for a 4-year-old to cope with. But as he gets stronger, maybe after Christmas, start paying more attention to him. And a boy Joey, he's off since May, only a 5-year-old. The handicapper might just have him. He showed his hand a little bit too much, but I say we're going to see wins out of all those horses I mentioned going forward. But yeah, between Gabriel Ranger and Slieve Berna, but I'll side with Gabriel Ranger. I think he definitely has another win in him, having only gone up 6 pounds.
Nice. Okay, sounds good. The 345, my strongest bet on the card probably comes in this 345 3-mile handicap hurdle. And again, I'm not going to get any brownie points for finding because it's sticking out like a sore thumb. And for listeners, preempt me, it's not Walk Away Harry. For the love of God, it's not Walk Away Harry. That's another one. Him and Liberated Light are in the same yard. I cannot, not same yard, but they're in the same. They're in the same bracket of I just can't trust them anymore. Especially even looking at Walk Away Harry, 7-4 favourite, beaten 18 lengths by Harsh, and then 8-1, and couldn't go to gallop at Sligo despite winning a 2-mile 2 bumper at the Punchestown Festival. Was beaten 32 lengths last time out. The handicappers dropped him a grand total of £0 for those 2 runs. He's best watched on his first start at 3 miles, which I could be ruining the moment. If I can't see an inquiry not being called if that thing wins. So anyway,
I just don't know what to make of him. No. He struck me the last day as a horse who's gone sour, and
I nearly backed him for. I nearly backed him for a Ballymore this time last year. That's what I thought that horse could have been. Now I didn't, but I was very, very close to backing him anti-post for Cheltenham. That's how much he impressed me in his bumper. Like, it's insane. Anyway.
Like you know, I know maybe Charles isn't telling Charles the plan, like, you know what I mean? Like telling the horse the plan. He struck me last day as the horse has gone sour, and you couldn't trust him. You know, he probably will bolt up soon, and we'll just have to let it go. Because you can't trust him. And look, I hope he does turn it around, and he seems to be on, like, he definitely is. He's on by a nice group of lads. So look, I hope they get their day with him, and you know, I hope him be sweetened up, and because he's a horse who showed a lot of talent, doesn't he?
He did. He absolutely did.
Potential, anyway.
Well, the one I'm strong, very, very strong here. It's a 5-year-old down towards the bottom. It's Kilkee Bay, rate 107. Gordon Elliott, Sam Ewing riding. No, I just really liked his maiden form. Like, he was 9-2 second favourite, was well beaten by Super Sunday, who on, I think, his stable debut ran in the Bearing Bingham or Ballymore behind Ballyburn. Ran fine, ran 7th. Didn't do too much wrong, but as then being behind the likes of Jungle Cove and Donny DeVito, like, he's running pretty strong out of season maidens, in my opinion, despite one of them getting beaten. He was beaten favourite, one of them. I don't think he was quite at home at Ballinrobe last time out in his first start. It's in Handicap Company. He was beaten about 5 lengths, looked like he was going to fall out of the back of the teddy, and just plugged on. Cheap pieces go on first time, and it's his first start at 3 miles. I think this horse will be very well handicapped now, stepping up to 3 miles for the first time. I'd be very, very sweet on him now, going very close here. But who do you like, Doc?
It's absolutely Kilkee Bay.
Fair enough. I'm after stealing their thunder here. I'm sorry.
Look, he was staying on. I think it was 50 finished on his handicap debut. That was over 2 miles 6. It was only earlier this month. He's up to 2 furlongs, and the pieces are on for the first time. Like, also, I texted you. I asked him, was are the bookies paying out already?
Is that the one, Jamie Mack? I'm sorry. I actually.
You know,
so I have actually completely forgot you to know.
We get a bet on. Look,
I'm completely stealing your thunder here. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I do think Doran's Law could be a big danger to him. He won off 106 in August. He's up £7, but Tiernan Power Roach takes off the 7. He's only a 6-year-old. The horse, not the jockey. But you know, Philip spoke very highly about Tiernan Power Roach when we were down with him, and
he did. Yeah, he mentioned him more than once. Yeah,
he reckons he's going to be very, very dangerous with that claim this winter. So he's effectively running off the same mark he ran off when he won the last day, or 2 runs ago. I think it was Darrell O'Keefe. But I couldn't not back Kilkee Bay. That's proper top material. He's taking all the boxes.
He's taking. I cannot believe him after stealing your thunder.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. No, in fairness, Deck, you did actually text me. That must have been subconscious. I was on the dart and I was going, just boom it already there, go on. But I actually...
you were ringing your bookie trying to get your money. I bet you haven't had yet.
I bet I haven't even had yet. He does. He looks extremely well handicapped. And assuming he's not, sour at the game. But I just don't think
this horse is not sour. This horse is not sour. That was only a couple of weeks ago. And he was... probably looked like he was outpaced, probably just a bit green. Handicaps happening a bit too quick for him, but he's dead on. He's stepping up and trip, and the pieces are on for the first time. Yeah, no, I think it's blatantly obvious, isn't it? Spend the money now. Don't even worry about it. It's coming. Book the holiday. It's grand.
Book a better holiday.
Book another one.
Yeah.
Have more on.
Come back and then go again. Right, the 4:20 is the Guinness Kerry National Handicap Chase. What a race, as I said, we said at the top of the show. This is you wouldn't think it's September of the National Hunt season seeing a field like this. This is just it's brilliant. There's no other real word for it. It's just a pity we can only have 18 runners, because I fancy a reserve big time, but I don't think he's going to get in a second reserve to Company Sergeant. Always have had a soft spot for this horse, and I think he's dangerous. If he doesn't get in here, he'll be winning races. Could see him maybe running well in something like a Tri-Town or something like that. Deck, you've won your very sweet on though, so I'll let you take it away.
Well, the second half of the double, look, it's Solitary Man. It's a horse we've talked about a good few times on here already this season. He's rated 143, 6-year-old. I think he's the youngest horse in the race.
Seems to be, yeah.
Yeah, and the 7-year-olds are all you know, not well exposed, but they're well raced. Like, you know, Zana here, Duffico, Percival Legawall, like we know loads about them. He's 6 and we don't know an awful lot about him. He's a 2-time chase winner. He was a nice hurdler. He beat Duffico over fences, giving him £3. He gets £2 from him today. I think he's an absolute good thing. He's the second half of the double. The race is quite interesting. Like you've lots in here that'll pull out your heartstrings. Florian Porter's in here. He made his handicap debut over 2 mile 1. That was obviously to sharpen up his jumping. Like it had to be to sharpen up his jumping, but I couldn't trust him in a handicap. Where I think they're going to go a really good gallop because it's a really good race. The Real Whacker, I think the Real Whacker might be the forgotten horse. I think he had a difficult season after returning lame on a seasonal debut in the Paddy Power, and he was struck into. I forgive him last season, and I think he'll win races again. But you know, 155, I'd say he's bumping into a really well handicapped 6-year-old. Santa here and sorry.
Pace angle, possibly the Real Whacker. You know the way the classy horses. You know the way, like if you think of the Paddy Power chase at Cheltenham or like that. Usually, I know it's 2.5 miles on a new course, but you know the way the protagonists are the good ones. You know the good ones tend to go to the front. And obviously he did it in the Broadway at Cheltenham. You think the Real Whacker goes to the front? I don't know if Florian Porter will actually be able to. I don't know if he jumps well enough to go to the front in a race like this. So, do you think he could be a potential leader?
Like I think Florian Porter could be borderline dangerous in a race like this.
Yeah, I'd be worried about in a race of this nature myself. This coming from one of his biggest fans. I love the horse, but I just want him to get home safely because I don't think this is going to suit him at all.
No, the Real Whacker I think has to go to the front in a race, in a handicap, and he has to jump well. And look, if he gets into a rhythm, you might just not peg him back, but there still was last season. Even though I'm willing to forgive him last season, there still was last season. He has to prove himself. Where a solitary man, like as I said, a 6-year-old, you know, we just don't know how good this horse could be, particularly over fences. And I think he's a good thing.
Very good, very interesting. Anything for former winners of the race? We've Desert Moorhouse, last year's winner, and Busselton, albeit probably a fortunate winner over Hewick. Like obviously has to return to form as well. Anything on them, or even an old favourite yours, Deck? Am I right?
Am I right? Was I think he made a very bad mistake in the Galway plate, and it put him out of it. He did go to the front when he was clear. I'll never make me money back on that horse. Look, that's defeat. That's defeat at a jail now. Yeah, look, come here. I as I get a bit older, I try not to cling on to horses and keep backing them. And you have to be looking. You have to be looking for the horses that are least exposed, and like a solitary man. Who was the other one you mentioned? Like, there's loads. Like, Percival Legawall's in here. He owes me a few quid as well. But again, they were just disappointing in the Galway play.
The one sorry, go on.
You've Zana here and Duffico in here. Look, they ran crackers in the Galway play. They were beaten. They did. Less than a length, I think, second and third. But they're both up after being not good enough to win. So, you know, he's a good thing, solitary man.
Yeah. I might, as I said, I'm going to take a chance, assuming the company sergeant doesn't get in as second reserve. I'm not expecting him to. I would fancy him if he got in, but I'm not expecting him to run. I would take maybe a little chance on Chemical Energy returning to 3 miles for the first time. He was 6th in the race last year, beaten 10 lengths by Desert Moorhouse. It was a good run. He was an unfancied 16 to 1 shot. I think he's around the same price here today. That was a really strong Kerry National from last year. Obviously, Desert Moorhouse, he ended up in the Grand National, didn't he? Don't know if he ran too well in it. Or did he end up in the Grand National? I don't think he did, actually.
Did he end up in the Irish National?
No, I think he might have got injured, did he? I cannot remember. I don't think we saw him in the springtime last year. But anyway.
He ran over hurdles in Nice. That was the last one of February.
Yeah, something must happen to him. Salvador Ziggy, a lot more was expected of him last year. I think there's something wrong with that horse, though. Foxy Jacks had a fantastic season after finishing third in this race. Authorized Art didn't do a whole lot wrong after finishing fourth in this race last year. Ran really well behind Let's Go Champ at Punchestown. The Goffer had a good season as well, was well fancied for the Ultima last season. I think he was placed in that, or fifth maybe. So I think it was a strong enough, and obviously Stumptown as well was behind Chemical Energy in that race. Stumptown went on to, I think, to win at Cheltenham early on last season. First time cheek pieces for Chemical Energy, a return to 3 miles, and a decent run in the Galway Plate where he was staying on fifth after a long break. A lot of his rivals that finished ahead of him that day were race fit. And I do know Chemical Energy has good form, especially when fresh. But I have a feeling that maybe Gordon Elliott has just targeted this race with Chemical Energy this year after he ran so well in it last year. Look, he's £1 lower than he is last year, so like he is a fair each way price. He might be a little bit vulnerable for win purposes. I can see him hitting the frame though, at a decent enough each way price. So I will take a chance on Chemical Energy, assuming the company sergeant doesn't get a run. But if anybody is listening, you're probably best sticking with Deck because he's far more sweeter on Solitary Man than I'd be on my 2 horses that I put up.
Yeah, so, no, I am. Very, very keen on him, and just watched him coming along. You're wondering where he was going to show up, and delighted when I seen him in here.
Yeah, it's right.
Look, he's what is he's 9 to 1, 10 to 1. Like he's. You
can have a good go at that.
Bigger. Sorry,
you'd like a bit bigger, but you can have a good go at that price.
Yeah, you can still have a good go. Just put him in a double with Kilkee Bay.
That's it. Right, Deck. It's so easy, this game. The Ballygarry Estate Hotel and Spa Novices Chase is next up. It's over 2.5 miles. An interesting enough little heat here. But look, probably not the easiest to kind of pick out. We've 6 decent enough mares. She could be anything. Is 136 over hurdles, ran fine on her chase debut behind Jessie Evans. I would nearly go as far as saying you could probably say that sets the standard, especially when you take her hurdles form and what Jessie Evans, who's a very nice horse. I think that's decent enough form. Obviously, we have a good friend of the show, David, has Popova in here. Dak, you're probably going to speak a little bit about her. Looking forward to seeing how she gets on.
I think we need to get David on to speak about her.
We should absolutely have David on.
Yeah,
good vibes. And we Pink in the Park as well, who, look, she was so impressive at this meeting on her debut in 2021, but just never reached the heights. And maybe that's a little bit unfair on her because, horses can win bumpers by half the track and sometimes it's just the bumpers don't work out. They're probably the main 3, Deck. Obviously, Broomfield, Bijou, and I'm probably not being fair here. And I'm just going to say Field, Minnesota. I'm not, whatever this Northfield, Minnesota, maybe, I don't know. Broomfield, Bijou, and Sancha Donna, I think. Donna is bold, isn't it? Sancha Donna. And look, all 3 of those mares have all won last time out, so maybe I'm being a little bit unfair on them. Who do you like, Deck? This is a tidy enough little race.
Yeah, look, I always like Popova, don't I?
You take a bullet for the cause of this day.
Right at 125 over hurdles. She was very, very good on her chase debut, but she's shown nothing like that since, so I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what's wrong. But like maybe Dave should come on. Dave's made his podcast debut now, so
yeah. Why is he not making on our podcast? He should be asking us to come. He should be coming on our podcast instead.
Dave is on with obviously Davis Horse in France as well. So he's on with the Clayman lads. It's very good. I give it a listen. They're not competition because it's about French racing. So we don't mind you listening to them.
It's Take Le Poule, is it? Take Le Poule. Take Le Poule.
Yeah. We must ask Dave what the term is in French. Look, I don't know, to be honest with Popova. I know she's loads of ability, but and she's only 7, but she could be anything. Does set the standard, Andy. She's a really good herder. She kind of lost her way a little bit, and they put her on the flash. She actually refused the race, but she looked like she was coming back to herself the last day at Galway. And San Salvador, who was in behind, has won since. Actually won on Sunday. But Sancho Donna beat Jumping Jet by 26 lengths in February, and I was there that day. I thought it was quite impressive. So she maybe, she might carry more potential now at this stage in her career, where she could be anything. Has ran a lot, and I don't know. Fences could have sweetened her up a little bit, but she might be borderline sick of racing now at this stage. So I'd probably be siding with Sancho Donna.
Sancho Donna, okay. I can't get away from she could be anything. With 10 stone 12 as well, I think it's going to take a very good. Like if she jumps around, I think it's going to take a very good mare to give her £7. I really, really do. And like obviously the rest of them carrying £7 because I think they've all won over fences. Obviously she could be anything, hasn't. She technically makes her.
You don't like racing anymore.
Yeah, I think that's unfair on her though. She's very consistent over like on her last national hunt runs. I know you said she lost her way a little bit, but.
Well, she refused to leave the stalls and
races. I suppose, she did refuse that. That's Tremor. I'd refuse at Tremor as well, wouldn't you? Not on the flat.
Yeah,
it's not a flat track. They've the flat Tremor.
No.
No, it's a good jumps track, but I don't. I'm not. I think it's a. I don't know. I think there's a time and place for flat racing. Look, I thought a run behind
a dog track.
Yeah, exactly. I think a run behind Jessie Evans sets the standard here, especially if she's getting £7. I think it's just going to be very hard to beat. So look, I at the price she's likely going to be, I'll leave her, but I do think she's the most likely winner.
Yeah, I'd probably be harsh on her. Like she was second in July, she won in June.
Won. Hates the game. Get her little winners saddle on. Get away from me.
Yeah, I get sick of it, don't we? Look, she must be deadly down, but she's only ran 18 times, I suppose. But how old is she?
7. Same as Sancho Donna.
Yeah, I'm probably being harsh on her. I just have in my head she's ran
lost a few quid in her.
Yeah, I had in my head she's ran 100 times and she's shown nothing for the last 2 years. Now you start to exaggerate things in your own head. Start convincing yourself.
Yeah. It's like when you said Kyprios has no chance in the Arc.
I tell you.
What are you going to do when he wins the Arc deck? Anyway, look.
After a furlong, he'd be detached.
All right. The Listowel Vintners Association National Hunt Flat Race. Nothing screams Irish racing more than a 2.5 mile bumper. God bless Irish racing. 14 runners, the 2.5 miles. I was about to say for the mares. There's a lot of mares in here, but it's not just for the mares. Right, well, I'm just going to straight up not lie to you, Deck. I have no interest on who's going to win this.
Andy, after the double life backed on this card, do you think I'm going to be even watching this race?
Potentially, depends.
Abbey Travel.
Is there an Abbey Travel down in Listowel?
I doubt it, but they're online now.
Yeah, there's many pubs that you can celebrate in.
What?
Yeah, there's many pubs you can celebrate. Listowel town's a good vibe, but I don't know if there's an Abbey Travel. Anyway, nothing for the 2.5. Yeah, I did. Myself and Tommy nipped in before the Kerry National last year. Great up. I quite enjoyed it.
I think the crack of this festival might be slightly overrated.
That's... why? I know you had a runner on it, didn't you?
I had a runner, yeah. On the Friday as well. Maybe it was just because it was the Friday.
Yeah.
Now, come here, I was badly hungover.
Probably half the battle. I had a lovely pint of Guinness now. The glass was white when I finished it, so.
I was 2 drive down and I just wasn't able.
Not get a plane. You wrecked the environment getting down there, didn't you?
That was the Killarney.
That was the Killarney, okay, sorry.
I was to drive to the Listowel and I just wasn't able. So Nick had to drive down, but Nick was having a few points down there and I had to drive back and I was in a bad way.
Driver.
Sorry?
Designated driver. Yeah, the first 30 or 40 miles of that journey home as well be on shite roads, wasn't it? So.
Stop. I could have been still over the limit by the time I was it was that bad now, but I had to stop. I had to stop. I was starting to fall asleep in the way I was bad. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it. Maybe that's...
sounds like a mitigating factor, all right, but...
Yeah, and Candana went off favourite, and he didn't stay that day. He finished fourth.
Yeah.
Mate, look, it was probably down to that, but I don't know. I'll be hopefully down there next Saturday. So the Harvest Festival has the chance to redeem itself.
Okay, right. Well, I hope it does, because I had a great day down there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now I was only having, I think I had 2 points. But I enjoyed the racing crowd. It's one of the most purest crowds I think you'll ever find, especially if you go on Kerry National Day. Everyone's there for the race, and it's nothing masquerading or anything like that.
You need to go to Punchestown on a Saturday morning. You'll find knowledgeable people.
What, 11:30 for the cross country?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll get down for a few meetings. I really look forward to that. That'll be fun. Absolutely. So I take it that
6 others who we all know each other, but none of us know each other's names.
I know,
and we know each other too long now to ask names.
Yeah, that's Irish racing in a nutshell as well. Yeah, when you get the 11:30 or 11:45 first race in January or December, that's when you want to be going down, I suppose. And then they don't jump anything because the sun is lower than a snake's. Anyway, but
look, I've probably been harsh. I was badly hungover, but it's so hyped up. I'll experience it again in better form, and I might come back and say, yeah, it's the best festival in the country. But see, you know what? You can't stay in Listowel as well. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, you can. It would just cost you a fortune if you get a room.
Nowhere to fucking stay.
There's 2 hotels. There's 2 hotels sponsoring the bleeding card deck. We got the Ballygarry estate, and we had the Brandon Hotel. There you go. There's two lovely pieces of accommodation.
And like some of the lads have booked, they've been like, oh no, yeah, I found somewhere. It's just a few minutes outside Listowel. A few minutes drive in the countryside. That could be 2 hours walking. You
can't see a thing when you're going home either.
Down a lane and no lights. So look, I'll give it another chance. I was in a bad way that day, so
okay,
probably me.
Right, nothing for the lucky last then is where we've gotten after. If people have managed to listen through that spiel, nothing for the last. Am I right?
I've nothing in the bumper now. Unless that double goes down, I will be scrambling. What have we got?
Yeah, going to the farm. Right, very good. And look, stupid question, Deck, before we let you go. Anything for the flat card on Tuesday? I take it now.
There's a flat card on Tuesday?
There's a flat card on Tuesday,
no.
Bud, yeah.
No.
Very good. All right, well, the nap of the tap, and again, I apologise for stealing your thunder, even though you text me. It showed you that what I was reading. Kilkee Bay, nap of the tap, I suppose. He basically, Deck's already saying collect. That's the 345 of Listowel. And Deck, your big fancy for the 420 is the end of Bulger trained
Solitary Man.
Lovely. All right, well, that brings us to an end of Tap 65 covering the Kerry National. And if anyone's in the comments actually as well and wants to defend Listowel from Deck's awful comments,
I didn't.
By all means.
I reeled it back in. I just think
you did.
It might be slightly overrated. I said slightly overrated. I don't think there's not a bad festival in the country or anywhere near the bad festival in the country, apart from Irish Champions Festival, but we've covered that. But I just, maybe it's slightly overrated, as I said. But I did say I was in a bad way. Yeah,
look, basically the tip, what we're saying here before we go is don't have 15 points and then drive home from Listowel to Dublin the next day.
Oh, Jesus. I think I just got in to get changed to get going again.
Very good. Oh, yeah. All right. You were like a John Ryan horse in the depth of the winter then. Out the next day. All right.
I actually said, it's grand. I said I'd sleep on the way down. But sure, I was too pissed to sleep.
That's the problem.
I was too giddy to sleep, so probably wrecking everyone's head in the car on the way down.
Put blindfolded and spun around and blindfolded into the car. You were getting reminders at Kildare to get all the way down to Kerry. All right. Anyway, that's all we've got time for on Top 65. Thank you very much for listening. Just keep sharing, comment, and subscribe, and tell us who you fancy even in the comments. There was a couple of comments that from Top 64. We do read them all, so do comment. more than welcome to. But
And
until then,
tell us
guys,
where you're going to book where Happy Travel once this double comes in.
that would actually be for bonus points. Yeah, tell us where you're going. Very good. All right. Until next time, guys. Bye bye.
Cheers.